Just watched back the video on a combo. Seems a lot like your chat takes my chat out of context, but might have been me. I was trying to say if you get to level 80 in retail, it's a way better experience because you're where you're supposed to be and you got a bad experience. Also, your community shitting on everyone in the comments is weird, but that's not really on you. Bunzi, have you come in again to reaffirm exactly how I need to play retail WoW? You're not beating the retail WoW player allegations. The original conversation was, I am going to tell Josh how to play retail WoW in a way that will make him enjoy it. My response was, I do not enjoy playing retail WoW because the way that I have to play it in order to enjoy it is not the way that I want to play games. And your response is to come in and say, hey, just to clarify, you need to play retail WoW in this way in order to enjoy it. And my response is, I don't enjoy playing games in that way. I want to play them in this way. And your added is, well, actually, in order to enjoy it, you need to do this. Can you accept that in order to enjoy retail WoW in a way that you think is relevant, I would have to play the game in a way that I do not want to do? You don't like it, so what? But then don't talk about it. I'm not saying it's bad, Bunzi. I'm saying that I don't personally want to play it. And you're saying, but you need to do this if you want to have fun with it. Dude, I have never, ever said that retail WoW is a game that people should not play. I have said that it is a game that I do not wish to engage with because of how you have to engage with it to have the best fun with it. Why do people need to insert their opinion about how someone plays a game? Because, Cole, that's just what they want to do. I think Bunzi, do you think that I've been talking bad about WoW? That's not what I'm saying. I get that, but it's not what you said on the last stream. And then I get shit for pointing that out because you didn't get the good part. Okay, Bunzi, what do you think I said about retail WoW? What did I say that you disagree with? I want to get to the point of this. This is round 2. You know, this is the sequel. What did I say that you thought was either in bad faith or that you disagree with? I genuinely, I'm going to do what we did earlier. I'm going to extend the civility and the grace, and I want to understand. What did I say that you think was in bad faith, or that you disagree with, or that you think has hurt people, or that you think has hurt retail WoW? I'm genuinely asking. This is not a gotcha. This is not me trying to trick you. This is me trying to understand. I'm going to try and read as much as I can while at the same time playing this game. The team are relying on me, so I want to understand. And for anyone in the YouTube comments, if this does make it to the says, don't shit on people. You know, don't tease people for this. Don't mock people for this. People have got their opinions. People have got their input. I want to understand. I want to be good with it. I want to understand. I am genuinely trying to understand. I have a genuine question. Is it wrong to do what it's trying to do? Denio, I don't understand the question. Because I want to work out what we disagree on. Because we might not disagree on anything. We might not actually disagree. Is it better to play Classic first? They're so massive and so complicated and so long that just play whichever one you find the most fun moment to moment. What's with the retail Andy infiltration? Unlash, if you want to be able to have a complicated conversation with someone about points that they are emotionally invested in, you also can't turn around and immediately start saying, oh, that's just a retail Andy. Okay? If you want people to be able to take what you say and what your input is seriously, try not to also just apply a completely reductive name to them as well. There is nothing wrong with retail. I just personally want to play the anniversary game. I do want to know what Bunzi is going to say, though. I can't see a message, though. If I've missed it, just let me know. But I'm trying to work out what the actual message is. I think what the issue is, and again, this is a good faith interpretation. I think what the issue is when I last played retail to any length. Okay, I never said you hated it, that it was just easy shorthand. My point is it's hard to talk about a game you haven't really played. Early game is rough, I'll give you that. But then maybe give it a shot whenever. Okay, Bunzi, early game is rough. And do you know what I said when I was talking about it? What I said was, early game is rough. And because of that, I don't particularly want to go through it. I don't get narratively invested in a game that immediately starts me within the narrative position of being a hero instead of someone who gets to do heroic things. I think that the early game in retail WoW showers the player with so much unearned praise that I don't feel an emotional connection to my character or to the world or to any of the events that have previously transpired. because I don't get to play through them or engage with them. I just get told that they have happened, and therefore I have to be given the unearned praise that the events themselves facilitate. That's what it is. I never, ever said that the end game was bad. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong on this, I've not actually commented at all on the end game. Right, and that's my point. Get to 80 and all that clicks. I'm here because when I get shit for trying to say this is not fun. Bunzi, let me ask you an honest question. Did I say the end game of WoW was not fun? Of retail WoW? Did I say that? You are telling me that in order to get to judge the game, I need to get to the end game. Have I made any statements or any judgments on the end game of retail WoW? Have I said the end game is bad? Have I said the end game is not worth it? Have I said that the end game is not a fun mechanical challenge? Well, that wouldn't make sense. No, of course it wouldn't. What I've said is, in order to get to the end game, I need to go through a gameplay experience that I do not engage with. And because of this, I choose to spend my time focusing on a gameplay experience that I do engage with. I am sure, okay, Bunzi, let me make it clear for you. I am sure that the end game of retail WoW is a different experience to the leveling experience. Would you agree with that so far? Leveling in retail WoW is not the main focus. You'd agree with that? Okay, good. I'm glad we're on the same page. We found some common ground. To me, the leveling experience matters. Do you understand that so far? I am sure the end game of retail WoW is phenomenal. Mechanically interesting, maybe narratively varied. But to me, the leveling experience is part of the overall game. And if you tell me that I have to go through a sucky leveling experience to get to the good part at the end game, I'm going to tell you that I'm just not going to bother going through it. Now, if your response is to come back and say, but you can't judge the game until you get to the end game, my response is, that's incorrect. You can't judge the end game of the game until you get to it, but you can judge the experience you've had. I'm not judging the end game. I'm judging the experience required to get to the end game. And that is an experience that I do not particularly enjoy because it's narratively disconnected. And that's fine. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm trying to say is it starts at 80, and if that had gotten you to a good experience, then it would have been amazing. Okay, if it starts at 80, what's the point of 1 to 79? Genuinely, what is the purpose? If it starts at 80, why do the levels 1 to 79 exist? Sell boosts, like I said last time. Okay, so there is a game out there where the opening experience only exists to get people to pay to skip it. Is that what you're telling me right now? The entire purpose of early game WoW retail exists to annoy people into paying to skip it. Is that what I'm trying to be a good faith interpretation. The early game, you're saying that the early game of retail WoW exists purely to be a roadblock that can be paid to be skipped. Because it's an old, complex game, already does a lot of new players. Yeah, going through the leveling helps other players because the devs focus on the early game. Okay, gotcha. Bunzi, I think you need to take a step back because I think you're upset that I'm judging retail WoW without having experienced what you think is the best bit of retail WoW. When I'm not judging it. I'm saying that I don't enjoy the experience that I had in the early game, and therefore I haven't got to the end game recently. And your response is, well, if I did get to the end game, I would enjoy it. Maybe. But the process of getting there was a process that I decided to not go through. Loy says, this conversation with Bunzi isn't going anywhere. Best for the both of us and all of us to just change the subject. We've had a huge amount of people today that have told me to move on from stuff. That's interesting. People are like, okay, Josh, we're finished with this conversation now, move on. Cool. What are we moving on to next? I mean, I'm sure Bunzi wouldn't appreciate that. I don't care if you like it or not. This is just a big argument of me trying to say, hey, this might be why you didn't like it. I don't care if you like it or not. Okay. So, yeah, why I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I didn't like the narrative connection being weak. I didn't like the early game being grindy. That's... And your response is that I might have liked it if I got to a different bit. Yeah, I might have done. But the problem is, I didn't want to get to that bit. Bunzi, can you please understand that one of the things that people say retail WoW players do, which is rather annoying, is constantly tell other people how they should play their game and why they should like it. And unfortunately, by constantly trying to convince me about why I would like something if I did it the way that you want me to do it, comes across as being unable to move on from the fact that I don't want to do that. I'm not telling you how to play the game. No, you're telling me where you think the good bit of the game is. And that is telling you how to play the game. Bunzi, you're telling me that if I experienced a part of the game, I may enjoy it. But I did not experience a part, therefore I did not enjoy it. There are people who very much care that my opinion and input on things they very much care about is fair. So then how am I the bad guy for trying to say, well, Bunzi, you're not the bad guy. You're just someone who's unable to drop something when you don't agree with it. You're not a bad guy. You're just someone that heard a content creator give their opinion and disagree with their opinion so strongly that you need to inform them that their opinion would have been different if they'd have had a different experience. Yes, my opinion would have been different if I had a different experience, but I didn't have that experience, did I? I had the experience I had, which is what formed my opinion. Had I have had a different experience, I would have had a different experience. But I didn't have a different experience. I had the experience I had, which formulated an opinion. And now you're saying, yeah, but if you had a different experience, your opinion would have been different. Yes, that is how experiences work and opinions are formed. Had my experience have been different, my opinion would have been different. But my experience was not different, therefore my opinion isn't. And if your response is, but if you'd have experienced this, you would have thought differently about it. Yes, I probably would have done. But I didn't experience that because that wasn't what the game gave me. You're not a bad guy. You simply don't understand why my opinion on the game is the way it is when if I had a different experience, my opinion would have been different. Because I didn't have the experience you had. I can't play through your memories. A new player will experience the game in a certain way. They will make a snap judgment on the game based on the experience they have. If the experience they have is not good, they will not continue to play the game. If your response is, but if you experienced a different part of the game, it would have been better. I am purely a recommendation. What you think I am trying to do is not true. Okay, Bunzi, so is your recommendation if I experienced the end game of WoW, I would enjoy it, or I'd have a different experience? Is that your input? Or what you're saying is that I can't judge the level 80 experience until I've had a level 80 experience? Because that's pretty much, that seems to be the best faith interpretation I can give you. I cannot judge the level 80 experience in WoW until I have had the level 80 experience. Because you know what? That's completely reasonable. That is 100% reasonable. That's fair. That's completely fair. About the late game, yes. Yes, I agree. Bunzi, I need you to understand something. I haven't judged the late game. I have made no judgments whatsoever on the late game. I have not judged the end game. I have not critiqued the end game. I have not said the end game is good or bad. I have said that I do not enjoy the leveling experience and therefore did not get to the end game. I haven't judged the level 80 experience. I haven't said that it is good or bad. I have said that I have not got to it because I do not enjoy the process of getting to it. And if I don't enjoy the process of getting to something, I'm not going to get to the thing. Most people don't level, they boost. Sure, but I'm not going to pay to jump past an experience I don't enjoy to get to an experience I do enjoy when I'm questioning myself, well, surely the early game experience should be a small version of showing me why I'm going to enjoy this. But then you make that more clear because it's not what I think when I see a video you post about the game or talk about it. Bunzi, I'm going to be real, bro, that's kind of on you. If you see a title of a video saying why I don't like retail WoW and you think that I hate it because I didn't experience the best parts of it, you're incorrect. The first thing you did was you came in here saying, why do you hate retail WoW? That was a real bad faith interpretation of my video. I don't think you understood it. I don't think you watched it. You gave a really bad faith, really extreme view of a video where I tried to explain my thoughts and feelings and opinions. You came in here and asked me why I hated a game. You saw the thumbnail and you got angry. Because you thought that I was judging the best parts of a game by the worst parts. Not the title, and it's not just me. I'm not a moron watching a title and saying something about it. And when it seems like you hate the game, I would say it's pretty okay saying you hate the game, even though you don't think so. I don't hate the game, and I don't think you're a moron. I think that you're someone who is confused as to why I'm not praising something when in your mind it's good. The dogs are barking a lot. When it seems like you hate the game, I would say it's pretty okay saying you hate the game. Okay, so when you think I hate the game, you can come in and say, why do you hate it? Despite the fact I've never said that. What I said, stop hating the game, it's the best ever, start praising it. When I said stop hating the game, start praising it, I'm legit saying this part is better, sorry you had a bad experience. Okay. Bunzi, that's actually great. If you want to come in and say, hey man, sorry you had a bad experience, this part is better, that's a great way of phrasing it. You have to understand that emotionally, if you come in and say, why do you hate the game, you're immediately starting from a confrontational point of view. And you don't want to be starting from a confrontational point of view. I'm sure that the end game of WoW is better than the early experience, but I'm not going to get to the end game if the early experience isn't good enough to keep me. Yeah, I didn't think about it because I didn't know what your opinion on the game was. You didn't know, which is why, if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't your first question to me, why do you hate WoW, retail WoW? That was one of the first few things you asked me, wasn't it? That's what I recall being the way that we started this whole conversation. Yes, because that's the vibe you gave. Bunzi, you've literally just said you didn't know what my opinion was, and now you're saying the vibe that I gave was that I hate retail WoW. So you're judging me based on vibes. So if you're judging me based on vibes, why can't I judge WoW based on vibes? Because if the vibe that you got from me was that I hate WoW, and therefore it's fine to judge me on that, I came here to see if the vibe was correct. It was a bad way of starting the convo, that's on me. Okay, Bunzi, here's the true, genuine thing. I don't particularly want to play retail WoW because I don't feel narratively connected to the storyline enough to feel it's relevant. I'm not judging the end game. And if you turn around and say to me, yeah, but actually, if you did this bit, you'd probably have a really good experience. Yeah, I probably would, but I didn't get to that bit, did I? Is everyone having fun? Quick mental health check-in, guys. How are we all doing? You guys all good? Zypher just said no. Like, no, Josh. No, this is just straight up not going well. Okay, Bunzi, can I ask you a question? Do you ever think you'd just come into this chat and be like, hey man, how's it going? Instead of explain retail WoW opinions to me. But you know what? If Bunzi is telling the truth, I can happily have a look through the old messages. Give me a sec. Any plans on going till max level, or are you going to switch again? Don't know. Tetris is still a competitive game. Friendly community if you don't have an opinion. Just watch back your video on our convo. So there were like 2 or 3 messages. There were 2 or 3 messages before which were much more casual. I'll give you that. I mean, Tetris can be competitive, but I wouldn't say that the casual player is playing Tetris competitively. Is it a bad thing? I'm tempted to say dumb things on purpose to be the villain of the bit. Cairo, so go for it. We are who we pretend to be. Classic Tetris. I was talking about Tetrio. It's a modern Tetris game. Never played Tetrio. Don't know what that is. Hey Josh, I'm going to change the list of content creators I follow from sensationalist to something more focused. Probably not the smartest thing to ask a content creator about it, but I see no hurt in exploring this venue. You've been consistently in the top 3 liked. Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate that. I'm interested in my recommendations of content creators. For comedy, go and watch Dug. And if you want to watch a bit of puzzles, I would recommend Cracking the Cryptic with Simon and Mark. I like those guys. Just watching your comments on body positivity resonated with me. It's such an important message. Appreciate you putting it out there. Oh, thank you very much. Would have preferred to DM, but messaging out the blue without consent feels inappropriate. You can message me. That's fine. My DMs are open for a reason. That's not a problem. You can always message me. I can't guarantee that I'll always respond or reply, but I'll try and read it. Yeah, you got to watch Dug. Dug's great. How strong am I? Emotionally, physically, or mentally? Cracking the Cryptic is great. I'm glad some other people have heard of that. Love Cracking the Cryptic. Love solving their Sudokus. Big fan of Sudoku. What's my opinion on Branston Pickle? I've lived quite close to Branston before, in a previous life, and it smells amazing.